And I think we're at a point right now where we would say amen to that, and with a great deal of hope that the next 2 years will be a little bit more comfortable. And for a lot of the reasons that Beth's described, I think probably predominantly it was the adjustment with the language. You know, that's what that meant. I'm getting signals from the back, and I didn't interpret. Language just doesn't come easy for me, right? No matter what kind. But feel free to make your way to the tables. We have some dessert there. It won't be distracting at all, so feel free to grab some dessert while I talk. But the two questions that were asked probably most commonly are, how are you doing? How's it been? And then the second, something along those lines. And the second question is, what are you doing, or what have you been able to do? So we wanted to briefly share a little bit of how it's been, with the hope that the next 2 years, especially because of the language learning, will be a little bit different than the first 2 years. Coming back over the last 2 months, we've kind of joked, but not really, to each other that maybe these have been the best 2 years of our lives. That's kind of how it's felt. You know, it's felt like being away from home and coming home. And it has been, thanks to so many of you guys and the way that you've accepted us and welcomed us, it has been so very special. And it's kind of, I think it's made it a little more clear that the first 2 years was pretty tough. You know, you get in a tough routine and you kind of don't realize that it is kind of difficult. You just you press on, but this has given us an opportunity to stop and look at things, and it's been helpful. One of the biggest lessons I think that God taught me for the 100th time was right about in the middle of our 2-year stretch. We had one of our missionaries' parents were missionaries in Papua New Guinea, and she was raised on the mission field, and they came down. And we have a missionary home group every Friday night, and so we asked them to take the home group and just share with us anything that God brought to their mind, anything they thought we needed, anything they thought might be helpful. And the point of emphasis that they made was that God is more interested. They just said, remember, God is more interested in what He's doing in you than what He's doing through you. And it was so refreshing, it was so healing, it was so nice to hear that, because it gave purpose to the difficult stretch that we were on. I was able to stop and say, He is doing something in me while we're walking out this difficult stretch of adjusting to the culture. And it's been something I've fallen back on often since. As far as the work that we do, the work, especially from a medical perspective, for those of you who don't know, I'm a physician, and one of our desires is to take health care to those who don't have access to health care. And that's been quite satisfying. The Amazon's huge, large parts of the Amazon, many people don't have access to health care. It's not unusual for us to go out 10 to 24 hours away from a town where there's the only doctor in the region. So, you know, kind of a funny way to look at it, in a warped sort of way, is that if I got, the only travel they have is by boat, and it takes them, say, 20 hours to get to a doctor. I wonder how many, if I got in my car, which is my mode of transportation here, I wonder how many doctors' offices and hospitals I